Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again today, and welcome back to a new Dominions 5 game. Now, this one, I'm recording this well in advance. It's probably not going to be uploaded for a while. Maybe not even until after the game is over, just because I'm kind of trying to space things out a little bit more. But this one I thought was going to be very interesting, because I am, as you can see, I'm playing Mekone. And Mekone is... I don't think I've done a full strategy video on Mekone, which I will at some point here, but I did an analysis of them right after they came out, at which point I concluded that Mekone had some very serious issues, and it still has some very serious issues. There have been some small changes to Mekone since it came out that made it a little bit better, but honestly it's still quite a weak faction. That said, there's one more interesting thing about this game that kind of changes things up a little bit. I am playing as the Pretender God in a Disciples game, a three-person, so we have three people on a team, 6 teams, 18 players all told, and I am the Pretender God of our team. So let's dive in and you'll get to see what the team looks like. So Punchmaster General is my god. This game is using the Extra Pretenders mod, which you can find on Steam, I believe, and which gives extra Pretender chassis to the various factions. Also, this game is being played on a map with no north-south wraparound, so it does have edges, which in this case actually ended up pretty good for us because one of our factions has a border but still has a full or almost full cap circle. So I am playing as Mekone. I am the god, and this is my god, the Punchmaster General. He has 1 level of Earth Magic and 7 levels of Nature Magic. He is the Tetrakire. Look at that blobby little sprite there. The Tetrakire, who is a special Greek chassis, which has Affliction Resistance, a lot of Ambidextrous, Chaos Power, does cause Unrest, is an Inept Researcher, a terrible, awful, no good, very bad Researcher, and has Berserker +7, plus Fear and Regeneration. In this case, he has Regeneration 20% because I took a Regeneration Bless, and nothing else. All the rest of my points went to Scales, because playing as Mekone, you desperately need Scales. The rest of my team, I'm playing with 2 relatively new players, Seventh Path and Domino. That's kind of what the purpose of this game sort of is. We're mixing skill levels in the teams and kind of having sort of an introductory Disciples games. Have I introduced enough caveats there? I think I have. So I've got Niflheim and WarriorsofFaith on my team. And this being a Disciples game, my thought process was, well, everybody needs to have an Awake, because having 3 awake supercombatants that can to some degree support each other will help prevent people from rushing us effectively. And given that Arco is quite weak in the early game, and Mekone has some weaknesses in the early game, we probably want that rush defense. So, scales-wise, I took Cold 3 because Niflheim really does better in Cold 3. I took Production 3 because Mekone desperately needs Production 3. Now, the other nations don't necessarily. It does help WarriorsofFaith somewhat, but Niflheim really doesn't need it. But still, it's really good for me and somewhat good for WarriorsofFaith. I took Misfortune 3 because it doesn't hurt much and I need the points. And I took Growth 3 because you always need to take Growth 3, pretty much. So, I didn't have any points left over for Magic Scales, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I think I'll be able to get through it. It's a little bit of a bummer because my E4s only gave me 11 research points, but we'll get through it. So, Punchmaster General, the Tetrakire. The Tetrakire chassis cannot expand turn 1 because it only has Natural Protection 8. Now, that goes up to 15 when it berserks, but 15 is not enough. 20% regeneration helps a lot. He'll be regenerating about 25 hit points around. Actually, I think 26, and of course he does have Fear. But what I need to do with him is I need to wait for 1 turn. We're starting with even research, so we're halfway or a little less than halfway up to level 1 in every field. So even though he can't actually research worth a crap, he's going to research this turn, because what he needs to do is he needs to forge himself a Black Steel Plate, turn 2. Which he can do because I get, as Mekone, I get a total of 3 Earth Gems per turn. Since this is a Disciple game, I will not be able to make a profit, so Demukos here is just going to patrol for 1 turn, And we're going to send our scout out to look around. It looks like I only have 3 provinces in my cap circle, which is bad. One of them is a highlands, which gives me better resources. That's good, but still. That's a little bit of a problem. Recruitment-wise, one of the changes to Mekone, I don't remember if I've ever talked about this before, but one of the changes was Gigante hoplites got, or Gigantes in general, got buffed. They got an extra point of attack skill and an extra point of defense skill. And the Golden Spear, I think this was a change. The Golden Spear gives you +1 attack. So their attack is now 14, and their defense is 14. And of course, they do high damage and have magical attacks. That was enough to make Gigante hoplites really pretty well worth it. So I'm going to recruit 2 of them turn 1. Because with 21 protection, 30 hit points, and that high attack and defense skill, they pretty much don't die ever. And then I'm going to fill out the rest of my recruitment with Heal Up Peltast. We're going to set that on repeat. We're also going to recruit an E4. You need at least 1 E4 in every fort in order to start the Crypteon. The special event that Mekone gets every year in the fall, where first Unrest goes up, and then at the end of the fall, Unrest goes way down, I think to 0, and a fraction of the population killed. Normally, you don't really like that, but the Unrest happens anyway, whether you have an E4 or not, and if you have an E4, then at least you get the free Giant Assassin at the end of it all. So we're going to start off by recruiting an E4. Punchmaster General here. So named because obviously he has 4 fists and he punches with them very, very effectively. Is just going to hang out. Demukos is going to patrol while waiting for troops, and that will be our turn 1. Mercenary-wise, we could hire Blackbones Pirates, but I don't have the money for it, and I'm not willing to spend the money for it. Looking at the other pretenders, we've got Kerberos, the slave of Punchmaster General, the god of WarriorsofFaith. He is a Hound of the Underworld. And we have... where is he? AI level Doomstacks, the first soldier of the Empire of Punchmaster General, who is Niflheim's god, and he is, I believe, if I recall correctly from our discussions, he's an Earth Serpent. So, it's an interesting little team we've got here. This team has incredible thugging potential between Nifljarls and Scrati and Polemarches and Archons. It has access to every magical path, counting the Pretenders, and really, really solid access to every magical path except death. And actually it has death because Niflheim has death. So we've got literally everything in our setup here. A lot of these are really good. Du Bois, Pinky, the son of Galaxy Brain. Lukia, the friend you don't want. Jason Giambi, Marion Jones, Victor Conti, the Mafia there. The Blood Mafia. This here is my beaten stick. I like it. We're off to a great start already. Throne-wise, we've got, we require 12 Ascension points, and we've got, I believe it was 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 14 level 1 and 4 level 2 thrones. So we do have the Throne of Water and the Throne of Gaia. We've got the Throne of Misfortune, which would be really nice for us, and the Throne of the First Age, which would also be really nice because it would give us extra magic and magic resistance. Other than that, Throne of War would be good. Throne of Night would be pretty solid. Throne of Beasts, Gems. Throne of Thorns would be nice. The lower throne would also be really, really nice because Niflheim, of course, has very expensive blood hunters, and so a little bit of blood slave income per turn would be very handy for them. Throne of Spring and Summer, of course, allow the recruitment of mages, which are great. Throne of Flames would be very nice for me, because fire gems I will be using to forge a lot and cast battle magic a lot. Throne of Ice, Throne of Storms, Throne of Might, don't really need that. Throne of Bones, that's something. And Throne of Law, which gives order. That would actually be nice to offset some of our turmoil, since we did take turmoil. So, that's going to be turn 1. This game is going to be interesting. It's, I think, the largest game I've ever played in Dominions 5 by a little bit. And yet, it's a Disciples game, which means that actually there's only 6 teams. So, effectively, you're playing against 6 people. It's just that they don't have perfect coordination, and their empires are very, very large. So we are using clustered starts, which is why we're fairly close to each other. As you can see, we're in a decent position. Niflheim and I are definitely within support range of each other. Arcos of Folly is a little bit farther off. And I imagine there's probably someone in this area and someone in this area. So that's going to be a little bit scary, especially if they happen to both be on the same team. I imagine, given the clustered starts, I imagine there's a team in this area and a team in this area somewhere. There may well also be a team down here below us. So we'll kind of have to see where we are. I'm very much out in the middle of things. Arcos of Folly, however, has a pretty solid border. Because, I mean, he has this, and then this can only be reached from this province. So that's a mountain that will protect him. That's a mountain pass that will be closed off by our Cold Dominion pretty quickly. So really, these three provinces are fairly safe. He just kind of has to take and hold this area. Niflheim has a lot of farms right near him. That's really lucky. Arco has a farm. I have a couple of farms relatively nearby within shooting distance. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. The other nations in the game. So there's us. Then we have Galaxy Brain, who is the god of Ermor. His disciples are Ulm, and where is... There we go. Kalem. So, interesting. We've got Ermor, Ulm, and Kalem. Ulm and Kalem are both cold nations. And Ulm is a great forging nation. And a decent death nation. Ermor is also a good death nation because they have the Augur Elders who can random death 3. And of course they have astral magic, so they can form death communions, which are quite powerful. So there's some synergy there. Kalem, kind of the odd one out. The only real synergy is that they have cold. They do have stealthy flyers, which will help with Ulm's typical stealthy strategies. We've got Victor Conti, Sauromatia, and his disciples are Xibalba and where's the other? Yes, Marion. So Xibalba and Baratos. So this team is heavy on blood. Sauromatia has a little bit of blood. Baratos has a lot of blood, and Xibalba has a lot of blood. So that's what they're going for, and they probably are the most dangerous late game team. Early game, they're a little bit weak, but in the late game, they will be a terror. Sorry, I had to get a sip of my tea there. We've got Du Bois, who is the god of Mictlan. Then we've got Tetsuhiko, first begotten of Du Bois, who is Tianchi. And we have... where are they? Little Dragon That Could, Counselor of Du Bois, who is Vanheim. So, Mictlan and Vanheim are very powerful Sacred Rush nations, and Tianchi can be played that way because of the Warriors of the Five Elements. So, excuse me, I anticipate... They keep saying they don't have a heavy bless. I think that's a lie. I think they probably have a pretty heavy bless, and I would anticipate a lot of early game strength from them. We have a Song of Fire and Blood, Abyssia. Where's Abyssia? We have Noke, who's Pangea. Ugh, Pangea. Gross. And we have Lucia, the friend you don't want, who is Hinnom. So there's a little bit of blood here, but by far the strongest member of this team is Pangea. I don't remember if that's an experienced player or not, but that alone is a little bit concerning. Abyssia and Hinnom have significant synergy. Pan, a little bit less so, but they can perform blood sacrifices, and they can... basically, this team will be able to concentrate all of their blood slaves on one player in order to make a nation that's not normally very good at blood, really good at blood. I would anticipate that if they're strategizing that way, they'll probably be concentrating their blood slaves on Hinnom to get a lot of Hinnom's special sacred blood summons, which would be a little bit scary. Hinnom with the blood income of 3 nations is frightening, even if they're not 3 great blood nations. And then we have Golden Boy, who is Agartha. We have one little wolf, Fomoria. And we have... where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Fabiano, who is Lanka. So they're all giants, or at least all size 3 and above. Lanka has blood. Agartha has earth, and Fomoria has primarily death and air. So they've got... this team has a lot of flexibility. Not a lot of direct synergy, but I'm not sure what their strategy is going to be precisely. I mean, Lanka and Fomoria both have quite a bit of air magic. But Agartha is basically earth with a sideline in death. Is pretty much their main thing. And they have definitely taken high earth on their god. Hammer of Gaia, Prince of Strength, the Fortifier. This I think is nature. Don't know what the Sword of Balance is. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to have to do some analysis of these, but initial thoughts. So we, of course, are going to be following quite a thug-heavy strategy, probably, because that is pretty much the main strength of Mekone, and it's also one of the powerful strengths of Niflheim alongside their extremely powerful communions. Arcocephale in this context may well be relegated to something of a support role, but we'll see. Arcocephale does have some neat tricks they can pull. So it'll be interesting. Stay tuned for more. I will, of course, be recording the whole game, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll get knocked out early, because like I said, Mekone is not a strong nation, and Arco is weak in the early game. But we'll find out how it goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in Turn 2. Alright, Warriors of Faith Turn 2. This one should be pretty quick. I mean, it's just Turn 2. I got a whole bunch of gems for my disciples, which is nice. And Arco bounced a scout off. This is probably the throne right next to them. Yep, that's what that is. Okay. So, in my capital, I've got Mr. the Punchmaster here, and he is going to forge himself. Actually, do I have any... I don't have any trinket fire armor, if there are none. Since he is my worst researcher, he's going to forge himself a black steel plate real quick. We're going to put all these guys in one giant blob on hold and attack closest, and they will be in a line. Right up there. We're going to get these guys also in a line on fire and keep distance closest up front. And Demuko's here is going to stay behind troops. So, in terms of expansion, I don't know what's in there. Down here we have a lion tribe who can't really hurt me, and there we've got militia and heavy infantry. That's slightly more money, though. I think I'm going to send my god to take that next turn. Demuko's is going to take this one. Yeah, and then my god will go up and take this farm as well for the delicious, delicious income. In terms of research, we're researching Alteration, and then Enchantment. Alteration level 2 will let us cast Stone Skin and Earth Meld for our Earth Mages. Stone Skin is a thug buff spell and will also work on our god. Earth Meld, well, actually it won't help our god because once he berserks he already has 15 nat prot, I believe. Earth Meld, however, is a great early combat spell for our mages, as is Mirror Image for air randoms. If air randoms aren't good for much, but that might help. After that we'll probably go down Enchantment to grab Personal Regeneration and Strength of Giants and eventually Flaming Arrows, which is something we can cast on our Javelin Throwers very, very easily. It'll also give us Terracotta Army, which will let us convert fire gems directly into chaff. So that's the research plan. Let's go down Conjuration. Actually, first to get Earth Power. That's actually probably a really good idea. And that's turn 2. Alright, it's Warriors of Faith turn 3. There's been a little bit of drama about this game. The admin, Kajukin, was actually banned from the server and also kicked out of adminning all his games on Llama server because it was discovered that he had been cheating. He'd been playing, in a couple of games at least, he'd been playing 2 nations at once under different alts, and of course we can't have that, so he got thrown out. I have actually taken over administration of this game, so I'm now running the thing, which doesn't require a whole lot and doesn't mean all that much, to be fully honest, but it's interesting. So delayed the game just very, very slightly. Fortunately, we found a substitute very, very quickly so the game can progress. So this is my disciple Arcocephale expanding. This is actually, I haven't talked about this yet, and there is going to be a video coming out probably before this, actually, talking about the patch, probably well before this. But, Arco changed in the Greek patch. Notably, their priestesses got buffed and changed into the Melissas. So the Melissas have more paths. They are still healers, and they're more expensive. So he's got a Melissa instead of a priestess here. He's got a Myrmidon champion, and then he's got a main line of Kardachis with Peltasts on each flank, and it is far more than is necessary to take out this little pack of dudes. So that's that. The Kardachis chase those guys off. The archers are run off. Great. Very easy, simple expansion. In Ulman, his god, who is a Hound of Hades. I think I talked about that. Yeah. Earth 5, Astral 4, Death 3. Astral 4 is a little bit dangerous, and we talked about that just a little bit, but he wanted to play with this combination. It's a good combination, so the only thing to keep in mind is you've got to keep your god out of combat with Astral Nations. But, so the Hound of Hades has buffed himself a little bit. The heavy cavalry run in and get bitten to death. And then the heavy infantry do the same. He, I think, is out of Dominion, so he doesn't have the Regen Bless. But he is lucky, although that's not really relevant for someone with as many hit points as this. And he is pierce resistant from Skeletal Body. So, overall, very easy for him as well. In Ulifa, Niflheim is expanding with his Earth Serpent. And he is in Dominion, so he does have the Regeneration Bless, and he is Earth 6, Nature 2. AI level Doom stacks the Earth Serpent, and he's unscripted, so this is a very common, I've made this mistake, a very, very common mistake to make with Earth Serpents. If you leave them unscripted, they love to cast Earth spells for a little while. But you can see he's regenerating 24 hit points around, so he's not in any danger here. Also, he has 26 protection. AI level Doom stacks, first soldier of the Empire of Punchmaster General. Yep, he got it. Then, Niflheim also double expanded to Steppe of Wild Horses. He's expanding with a whole bunch of giants. He's got some Jotun Javelinists and some Jotun Herdmen, as well as... That's another Javelinist. What's that guy? Yeah, that's another Jotun Javelinist. And some Jotun Spearmen. So just giants. Not great stats, but they are decently tanky because they have lots of hit points. They do tend to take quite a few casualties because they don't have very high prot and they have low defense skill. But they managed to hack through anyway, just on the basis of being giant and beefy. Great. Took a few casualties, and then in Amul, I expanded with my army. So I've got my heal-up Peltasts up front that I recruited. In the middle, I've got my line of infantry, flanked on either side by a Gigante Hoplite, with my Locos in the back. And this is all Lion Tribe. And so as you see, the Peltasts throw their javelins, and then they go into melee. They are basically crushed against the enemy by my line of infantry. They do rout almost immediately, but that is fine. I really don't care. They did their job. They lived long enough to let the actual infantry do the killing. And as a result, I only lose 3 Heal-Up Ekdromos while losing 6 Heal-Up Peltasts, which don't matter. And the rest of my Heal-Up Peltasts run away. So, great. Now, Punchmaster General is going to put on his armor. That kicks his protection up to 18. When he berserks, his protection will go up quite a ways above 20. Now he can expand safely to anywhere within Dominion, and I'm going to expand to Delca, because Delca has really high income, and then he can go right up there to get even more income. So, he doesn't have any spells, so he's just going to attack. And he's going to be set right up front. Meanwhile, at home, we are continuing to recruit E4s. I don't have enough resources to recruit 3 Gigantes yet. So I'm going to keep on recruiting 2 and as many garbage Peltasts as I can. That's heavy infantry and slingers. That's more income, and it's militia, heavy infantry, and archers. So we're going to go take that province, even though it won't directly help. I mean, this province wouldn't directly help me either, because this is honestly kind of a bad spot. But should be pretty solid in any case. So Niflheim is expanding down into these farms. That's actually a terrible farm. It only has 22 income, which is sort of sad, but that has 70 income, so that's a good province. 57 and 70, good income all around. Only 58, but I'll be getting 92 and then 84 in the next couple of turns, and I'm getting 63 this turn. So my income overall is going up by about 150. Great. I have no money left. Research-wise, that is the wrong button. Research-wise, I am continuing to research alteration very, very slowly. And then I should actually go down enchantment because I should get personal regeneration. That will be a great early target, so I'm probably going to do enchantment 3, which gives me strength of giants as well, and then conjuration 3. Alright, that'll be the plan. And that is turn 3. I'll see you in turn 4. Alright, turn 4. We're just going to zip through this. These early turns, as always, should go pretty quickly. So we've hit alteration level 1. Unexpected event in Mekone. Witch was caught. Okay, that's fine. In Zilbamark, Arco took over another independent province. In the Great Feral, same. In Pergami, Niflheim hit an independent province, and in Land of Plenty, they took over this one. Might have to send this army back to reload pretty soon, because they're down to 7 units. Which is not much. Because Nifl Giants are very, very tough units, but Jotun Giants are not, to be honest. I mean, if you look at stat-wise, Jotun Spearmen, not exceptional stats. They have very high strength and pretty decent hit points, the same as my Gigantes. And but only protection 14, and, you know, they're not exceptional, put it that way. Even the Jotun Hirdman, only defense skill 14 and protection 16, so large numbers of smaller units do just wear them down like this. They take a lot more attrition than Gigantes do. And then in Kimri, or Simri possibly, let's see how my little line of troops did. We've got our one little Peltast running forward. Yep. Got him. The nice thing about these units, archers just straight up don't affect me. Because Healet Hoplites with 17 protection and a shield, which is a high protection shield with a decent parry skill. Even though the defense is fairly low, they're almost invulnerable to arrows. And Gigante Hoplites are just straight up invulnerable to arrows. Arrows just bounce off them with funny little pinging noises. So we got that, and then in Delka, our god went in. You can see him here, all angry and forearmed. And he's going to charge in with his 20% regen and 18 protection. And once he berserks, his protection goes up to 23, and his attack skill is 20. His defense skill is 0, so he's going to get hit by everything. But at Prot 23, attacks don't really bother him all that much, and he just keeps punching. There we go. Good job, Punchmaster. Alright, so, up to about 500 income. We are going to switch over even more towards recruiting Hoplites. Gigantes. We have enough units for an expansion party right now, probably. Like, that army could probably go down and take this, but we're going to wait one more turn to get up to 7 Gigante Hoplites, just in order to maximize our chances. Do they look a little bit different? Am I just crazy? Isn't there... Anyway, regardless, we're going to ignore that. So, Ektromos and Hoplites. Oh, that's the independent Hoplite type, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go take that, and that is Hinnom. And that is Ulm. And that is Tianqi. Okay, so we're starting to get a feel for where our opponents are. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. We're just going to leave that province to probably be the border. I'm going to need to go take that, though. Do we have any good mercenaries? Not just frickin' Barelk. Screw you, Barelk. I really don't want to spend the resources to hire a commander, so what I'm going to do is, because that's 50 militia and heavy infantry. Yeah, I need to wait one more turn, I think, because I don't think... My Heal-It Peltasts, I think I need to kind of outnumber with, and then I want at least 6 or 7 Gigante Hoplites. So we'll wait one more turn. We also have a... Did I not notice that last time? We've got a Haunted Village. I also need to be putting province defense in these provinces. So, Demukos. Wow, I've got 2 really big barbarian provinces. And then that's a throne down there. Not a very tough one, but heavy cavalry, and that's a throne there. So yeah, Punchmaster's gonna go grab Endless Plain. Demukos, ooh, there's a mine of superior iron here. Oh, 89 resources. I'm gonna build a fort here. We're just gonna recruit a commander who's just gonna sit here and wait for a little bit. And as soon as I build up the money, he'll start building a fort, probably in 2 or 3 turns. So Mekone's forts take, I think it's 6 turns to complete, but their very first level, though it only has 100 defense still, gives you an extra command point. So they're nice in that way. So yeah, Demukos, go take that. I don't think I took any casualties. Yeah, I took 0 casualties. Nice. Punchmaster, go take that. Next turn, we will take this province with our new army, probably just led by one of our E4s, since E4s can lead armies, including slaves. And that will be fine. Now, AI level Doomstacks probably wants to circle back, because that's a bad province to attack. That's definitely a bad province to attack. He might be able to take this throne, but preferably not. And that is... Ooh. That is Onyx Amazons. And that is Jade Amazons. So we do want to go that way, because we want both of those provinces. Basically, I want those provinces because they would give me magic diversity that otherwise I don't have. Jade Amazons give me water and nature. Onyx Amazons give me earth and death. And death is actually really, really nice for me because I have those national spells that require death. In particular, I have... What levels does it require again? Hound of Twilight. Yep, I could easily get an Onyx Sorceress up to summon Hounds of Twilight. That would be fantastic. Oof. Demukos can't take either of these places by himself. Punchmaster might be able to take them, but he is busy getting me money, and I do need to get paid. So, it's gonna have to be... yeah, I'll take next turn. Instead of taking this province, I'll actually move down here and then attack... I'll probably attack the bulwark first, because I'd be more afraid of Ulm coming and taking it. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be the plan. And I'll contact him and let him know. Try to set up some borders, maybe. Because I'm fine with this. He can have all this. That's fine by me. But I'm going to take this. And then hopefully also the throne. But we can leave Norville as the border. That'll be fine. I just need... I mean, I get these. Because they're close to me in this wood. Okay. So that'll be cool. That's turn 4, I think. We're also going to have to negotiate with Qinshi and possibly Ulm. Ulm's a little further away, so discussion with him can be a little bit briefer. Ooh, they found a Windspire. Excellent. So that is just a celestial bureaucrat. Interesting, so that's not a province they just expanded to. They took that province earlier. So that means their capital is probably like over here. Like one of these provinces. More likely to be here. Because it's only turn 4. So unless they blind expanded, which Tianqi would be... It would be very risky for Tianqi to do. This province must have been taken last turn. And it can only be one step away from their capital. So yeah, actually their capital has to be one of these 3. And it wouldn't be this one, because otherwise, if it was, we'd see enemy dominion. So it pretty much has to be here. Because if there's no army there, if it's just a celestial bureaucrat... Wait, celestial bureaucrat? That's their god. Tetsuhiko? Tetsuhiko? Yeah, that's their god. And that is a dragon. That's an Eastern dragon in celestial bureaucrat form. Huh. It's interesting that he's in celestial bureaucrat form because he has to shape change to get into that. I mean, from his dragon form. Which, to me, implies that he's moving around like site searching or something, as opposed to expanding. So, given that it's turn 4, turn 1, only blind expanders expanded. Turn 2 would be the first order issued, and so on turn 3 is when you'd hit the first province, right? So, that implies to me that Tianxi's army hit this place last turn and moved out. And Tianxi's god moved in probably to site search. So yeah, they're either here or here. That's awkwardly close. At least Arco hasn't seen anybody yet. Arco's got a little bit of room to grow. No fantastic provinces right around Arco, but they do have this farm that's pretty nice. And I think we're going to be able to... Hopefully, Arco and Nifl will be able to link up here and form a solid front. And I'll just kind of be like this, sort of guarding Niflheim's flank. Arco will be a little bit more exposed, but he's got decent terrain over here to block people up with, so we'll see how it works. In any case, thanks for watching. That's turn 4. Like I said, I'm going to try and get down here in the next couple of turns to take the Bulwark, and then sort of take Digmore as associated. So, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Ulm is stereotypically scary for giants, because, as you've seen from my Ulm game that I'm playing, Ulmish units hit really, really hard. And so against most giants, that means they do a ton of damage very quickly, even though their attack skill is low. When you have 6 attacks coming out of one square, affecting your defense score and causing harassed penalties, and so your defense drops like a rock when you're fighting Axe Warriors. And so eventually they start hitting you, like, you know, if 3 squares full of Axe Warriors attack you, probably whoever goes last in line, the whole square hits you, pretty much. And so you get 6 20 damage attack rolls, and you go down very, very quickly. It's a lot less of a problem for Gigante Hoplites, because, of course, Gigante Hoplites have Protection 21. And they have a long golden spear with a high attack value, so they repel very well. So I'm like the only giant nation that isn't afraid of Ulm. I think I've said that before. It's one really nice thing about Mekone, is that you don't have to be afraid of Ulm. So, ooh, that's a really rich province. But it has 120 barbarians in it. Oof. Anyway, so, yeah. I'm not... If Ulm tries to be pushy towards me, I'm not scared of that. I can deal with that. And if Ulm moves in and tries to claim these, I'll just kick him out. I do definitely need to get to talking with Hinnom, though. We need to set some boundaries. And unless he wants to try to go to war right away, which I don't think would be wise, but he could certainly try it. Mekone is a little bit vulnerable to being rushed just because recruitment is so slow. If I was getting rushed, I would stop recruiting Gigante Hoplites, and I would just crap out like 30 Helit Peltasts a turn. But hopefully it won't come to that. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 5.